Millions of people around the world are struggling to overcome certain habits in their lives which have significantly threatened the individual or those around them. Um, Bad habits negatively impact your relationships with others. It is therefore essential to learn how to overcome them, also to improve your relationships with others, but also to improve your mental health, your physical and emotional health. I have observed in the past that many people have experienced failed relationships and friendships in their lives just because they were unable to overcome certain habits. When this happens, people who are affected might end up sinking into depression or engaging in drug and substances abuse as of escaping the bad social life they have as a result of bad habits. To overcome these bad habits, the first step is to identify the triggers of these bad habits in a person. Let us examine some practical ways of overcoming bad habits. A trigger can be defined as an event that will cause an automatic urge for a person to engage in a particular habit. A bad habit is any habit that may cause harm to an individual or those around them, either physically or emotionally, or both. According to Eckenham, in his book on breaking bad habits might be triggered by emotional or psychological traumas that a person experienced during their childhood or teenage years. For instance, a person who grew up watching his or her parents fighting every day is more likely to develop aggressive, and the slightest provocation can cause them to get physical. Therapy is particularly crucial for someone seeking to overcome a habit which is also considered an addiction. People can develop bad habits because of the emotional and psychological traumas they experience as children, and such anything that reminds them of their abusive childhood could be a possible trigger. Bad habits can be overcome by participating in recreational sports, activities that keep your mind occupied and encourage positive thinking at all times. This is because the more occupied you are in an activity that keeps you alert and focused at times, the less likely you are to think of engaging in such habits. The experiences given in the study published by Yale University, why people get easily hooked up to cigarettes and smartphones to the extent among other bad habits. Millennials mainly were the most addicted to smartphones to the extent some people were no longer able to bond with others, people face to face, and would only do so behind a keyboard. Now that we have explored the various examples, triggers, and effects of bad habits, let us now learn the various ways of overcoming these bad habits. Joining therapy groups where one gets to interact with people struggling with similar habits and who would like to quit. Such groups help a person to recognize that they are not the only one struggling with the bad habits and that it is possible to overcome them. Commitment and self-discipline are the two most important virtues that a person must have in order to gain from these therapy sessions. The environment in which a person lives can also be a trigger of certain bad habits. Therefore, a person can also decide to change their environment as a way of overcoming these bad habits. Today I first discussed what bad habits are, examples of common bad habits, effects of bad habits in an individual and those around them, common triggers of bad habits, and how to overcome bad habits. Learning how to overcome bad habits is very important, especially when a person is trying to build positive relationships with others and also trying to adopt a healthy lifestyle. Seeking professional help, joining therapy groups, and participating in healthy sporting events are just some of the few ways in which a person can overcome bad habits.